So guys, back having trouble again with an aircrafter, 2 litre diesel, engine code this time DAVA. Let's have a look at this crafter here today. Reported losing coolant. Now this has been going on issue, I'd say, for 6 months to a year. This driver's been reporting this issue with this van. So far it's had 2 EGR coolers. One replaced by VW under warranty. The one I replaced a few weeks ago, we did a video about it, so you can check that out if you want to do EGR cooler. Charge air cooler has been replaced, and it's had pressure cap replaced to the coolant reservoir. It's also had the radiator replaced. I'd say the radiator was replaced due to a bit of a collision, so it wasn't due to diagnosing the coolant loss. Driver's been reporting possibly a gallon between 5 to 7 days of coolant lost in the engine. No visible leaks, nothing dropping out of the engine. Got the thing under pressure here. I've got about 12 psi in it. Just kind of just have a look around the engine, see if there's any pipes leak or anything, or any visible signs of coolant loss. So we're going to dive into this one and see what we can find, see if we can fix this issue. It's still holding pressure there, about 12 psi. It's not really dropped off. I've just started pulling the dash apart a little bit, just in case. I could try and get a look at the heater matrix, see if it's actually leaking inside there. Finding the heater matrix is proving a bit harder than I thought, and even getting to it's even harder. But this is quite a sort of a rubbery carpet on this thing, so if it was leaking, I would have thought we'd see signs of trace of it leaking, or you'd even be able to smell it in the heater, the sweet smell. I can't see no signs of it so far. Managed to get into the heater matrix. It's located just behind the center console there. I've had a look around. I can't see no leaks, or obviously it's coming from the heater matrix. Those pipes there are nice and hot. I just took it for a drive, pressure tested it. So no apparent leaks from there. I did see I was onto something there. I seen a bit of a wet mark just down inside there. Sort of like something been running. I've kind of pressure tested it up. I think it's maybe a driver spilt somewhere or something. It doesn't seem to be leaking any coolant down in there, as far as I could tell. So I'm gonna try and have a look now more at the engine side of things. I just managed to get a scope up inside here on the back of the head. As you can see from the scope, that's the corner of the cylinder head where the mixer block, it's not actually dripping out the back of the head, but you can see a lot of coolant residue there. It's also a bit of a wet patch. Just pull this down. The back of the head there. See, there's a bit of a stain on the back of the head there. Gonna have to have a look at this a bit closer. So yesterday then we put the compression tester on it, tried to do a compression test, see if we could see if there was anything down on the cylinders. They come back a little bit erratic, results. Number 4 being the lowest at 160, number 1 being at 420. Now we're wondering if there was a bit of coolant managed to fall down into the cylinder there to give us the 420 result. I even tried yesterday putting a smoke tester up on here. Smoke tested the system. I was hoping to see maybe some smoke come out of the intake, or even down the back of the head where we thought we had a suspected leak on the head gasket, or internal leak would have come through here. Unfortunately the smoke tester built up to about 8 psi of pressure and we couldn't see anything. Maybe the engine was cold, maybe we could have done it when the engine was hot. Same with the compression test, we had to do it when the engine was cold, just due to the stripping down involved now to get down to your glow plugs. There's a lot of stripping to get involved. So we decided to remove the head, to inspect the head for any damage, inspect the head gasket, see if we can see anything there. It's our only kind of next option. It off. There was a huge amount of stripping in these engines to get the cylinder head off on these. Endless coolant pipes, endless sensors, turbo was a nightmare down the back. I probably would recommend taking the front off. Because look how far down it is. I'm trying to show you. The engine's buried right down inside. So far, not really found any concrete evidence of a gasket failure. The rings all look pretty good around the gasket marks where it seals. I've not seen any real signs of coolant leak or water leaks into the bore. One thing I have noticed is the state of the bores. Something has gotten into the bores. This one here is very stained, the bore sides. Marks all over it. Compared to say, it's number 4 there. Number 3, if you look at the piston, number 3, it looks like there's been something going on there. It's very sooty on top. The others were quite clean. That's all I can really see on the block. I've looked down for cracks and stuff in the liners. I can't see nothing obvious. Head gasket again itself. Hard to see anything that's really actually sort of conclusive to coolant leak into the cylinders. It's a multi-layer gasket on this one. Let's see here. I'm going to strip down the layers on it. Check inside the layers. Cylinder head. I have the head sent off now to be pressure tested for cracks. Say again on the faces, I can't see anything really on the cylinder head to sort of be conclusive. So still trying to find how we're losing this coolant into the cylinder bores. Just looking at number 1 here, intake on the head. It's not very easy to see with the camera on there, but you can see there's some sort of signs of coolant staining inside the ports. Looks a lot more cleaner. Stand there by the valve stem, you can just see it. Maybe on the top. Torch is kind of taking it away a bit. If you look at that compared to the other ones, there's more carbon build-up inside the rest of the ports. And the other 3. Look at that one there, number 1. Seems to be a lot cleaner. Something might have been entered in, say there is some red sort of staining down there. You can see there the DPF is completely burnt through on the bottom. Try to get this camera to focus in there. There's a hole runs all the way through the DPF. See on the top corner there, you can see some staining. Something's definitely gone through the DPF. There's the other hole on the front side of it. Completely burnt a chunk through. It's taken out the SCR as well. The rest of the DPF is stuck in the SCR. There's a big chunk of it in there. Back to the strip head. This is all the parts removed to get to the cylinder head. EGR cooler off. Turbos off the back. One thing we did find on it is the state of the DPF. It's a bit hard to see there. Due to the suspects of coolant entering the bores, we have just stuck a straight edge across the pistons in TDC and measured underneath with the feeder blade. I checked in by eye, I couldn't see any obvious bending or signs of indifference in the pistons. So we just put the feeder blades underneath the straight edge to make sure as best as possible that we don't have a bent piston rod. Just while I was stripping it down there, I did notice this here, and there's another one here. I thought might be a crack. This crack doesn't look like it's extended through into the valve seat by eye or nothing like that. This here looks like a bit of pitting or something, but at the end of my fingertip there could possibly be a crack as well. So I managed to get the cylinder head back from the machine shop there. We sent it off to be pressure tested. Looks like we were on the right trail with number one, but this was more on the exhaust side. After pressure testing the head, they pulled the valves out of it, pressure tested it in 75 degrees water, and they found that there was a crack on the exhaust side of the cylinder head. So looks like what might have been happening is when the vehicle was either stopped after being running or left overnight, the coolant would have been dripping down into the bores if the valves were open, and if it would have been running, the compression for the engine would have been pushing the coolant out of the exhaust port into the after treatment system instead of burning it inside the chamber. That's probably why she wasn't smoking very much. You can see there they've marked it where the cylinder head was cracked, so that's good news. You see a bit better there. It was on number one, say we were seeing stuff inside the intake, more marking and stuff, so we were on the right cylinder. I'm just trying to think, say without sending it off to a machine shop, maybe you could drop your exhaust manifold off if you thought you were having coolant loss. Maybe try and pressure test up the head, run it, see if you can see any coolant coming out of it. If you were trying to send it, just try to diagnose it if you're having your own troubles. Obviously stripping this thing off here is not very easy. It's a big lump and very hard to get to. That's the only way I could try and see. You might be able to see it in the shop. So hopefully, yeah, we found the issue, the cracked cylinder head. We have a new cylinder head here built up, ready to go. Gonna start getting that one, rebuild it back up today. Just while I'm here, I think you remember when I put the scope down the engine earlier in the video, and we thought we had a coolant residue down the back of the head. One thing I would say to watch for is, I was noticing when I was stripping the engine down, the head gasket's kind of got a red sort of coating on top of it, which obviously when you press the head down with the bolts and everything like that, if a piece of that was squished and sticking out between the cylinder head and the block, it would look very much like you had coolant leaking down the back or a stain. I'm not 100% too sure if that's what we had. Maybe we had a coolant leak down the back of the head too. Just pointing this out to be aware from. If you are checking for coolant leaks, maybe just try and determine it is 100% leaking. We did pull this cylinder head gasket apart. Just trying to check through it, see if we can see any leaks. We couldn't see nothing for sure. It's nice now to know that hopefully we have found something in the cylinder head that was giving us the fault. So it's been going on for a long time now, this engine, with trouble. It's good news, so we're going to go and get this new head rebuilt back up and get it tested and see how we get on.